Hey folks, I want to make sure I put my phone on do not disturb. Okay, so uh, today is a cold, dreary day in Colorado. So I have all the lighting, but it still feels a little like it's not quite lit up. Okay, so you're going to see me look this way. I have my notes this way. Those of you who know me know that I like to have notes because if not, I will ramble on and say silliness. So today I want to talk to you about visibility. Address my camera. And how to conquer the fear of being visible, because that is something that I've struggled with quite a bit. And it is also something that literally holds most of my clients back in terms of being able to really step into their purpose, share their gifts, and create a life that they really love. So for me, it's one of the main things that we have to work through, especially if in any way, shape, or form we are online and we have a mission and we have a message that we want to share. We have to be able to break free essentially and break through that fear of being visible out there. And there's a lot of different fears. I'll go through what are some of the fears that keep us from doing that. But essentially today, I'm going to give you the three main ways that help me essentially be here in front of you today. It took forever for me to be able to do that. And it's still a struggle today. So it's not something that automatically goes away. But if you knew me, back then when I literally would be sick with the idea of going live, and today it barely registers. It's not super comfortable, but it's not something that I struggle with or that drains me of my energy automatically or puts me in a freeze place the way it used to. So, and by the way, if you know that visibility is your thing, if you know that visibility is what is holding you back from being able to really put yourself out there and create the life and the income and the impact that you know you want to create, then I invite you to get on a call with me. I get on calls with people all the time and I just brainstorm with them. We figure out what's holding them back, what's keeping them stuck, and what are some of the steps or what needs to happen for them to get unstuck and to start really showing up powerfully and fully as themselves and sharing what they have to share. So if you know that visibility is a main issue for you, then don't hesitate to just reach out to me. And so you can DM me, you can put let's brainstorm in the comments, and then I'll reach out to you. All right, let's get going with hey, so I'm seeing a comment, but it says Facebook user. I'm not sure who you are. It says, I appreciate what you do. Thank you. I appreciate you being here and saying that because it's always nice to hear. So for those of you who are here, thank you. Okay. So as I shared with you, visibility has been one of the major struggles that I've gone through. It took me a long time to actually decide, and that's truthfully what it was. It was a decision. I decided that I was going to put myself out there. I decided that I'd had enough of just people not being able to serve in the way that I knew I was capable and I knew that was within me. And I think, if you think of success, if I have a definition for soulful success, is the willingness to be uncomfortable and to take one small courageous action after the other to essentially move the needle and start shifting things for ourselves and for our vision in some ways. So, there's a lot of things. For me, the decision to become visible and to get past my fears came from frustration. So I had a number of frustration. I got pissed off that people didn't know who I was or what I was doing. I got annoyed that even though I knew that I was really great at what I did and that I really helped people and my prices were really fair, I wasn't super busy or fully booked. And I could see people, in some ways, that I knew within my network, who I knew were not doing the same level of work I was, who were more expensive than me and were significantly busier than me. And mostly, they were willing to be bold. They were willing to put themselves out there. They were willing to share and do things that I was too afraid to do. And that's the only thing that made a difference. Um, and then the other frustration that came up for me was knowing that there's people out there that needed to work with me but could not find me. And over, I had that experience of having folks say to me, because back then I was a therapist, and that's mostly what I did. I worked as a therapist, but say to me over and over, "Wow, Elsa, I'm so glad I found you. You're my sixth therapist," or, "I wish I'd found you sooner. I wish you had known you were there sooner." And honestly, guys, that was on me. That was on me not being out there and essentially only working with people who were referred to me word of mouth. And the folks that needed me did not know I existed. They did not know who I was, because I think a lot of it too is we're not meant to serve everyone, but we're meant to serve people who are going to relate to us, who are going to feel comfortable with us. And if we're not visible, then people really don't know that. They might see a picture of us somewhere, they might see a website, but how much of that really tells who we are? The only way for our people to know who we are is to put ourselves out there and to essentially be a little bolder, which is not always easy. So that was the thing that moved me. What I lovingly call, I got anger balls. Essentially, I got pissed off at myself. I got pissed off at all these people that I could be serving that I was not. And I got anger balls, the balls to actually go and show up, even though I was afraid, show up, even though I felt uncomfortable. So So it's that courage that essentially gave me, it's that anger that actually gave me the courage to start sharing my gifts and to just show up. So I did a lot of healing work. I think all of us really struggle with putting ourselves out there. So here are some of the things that were true for me and that I see being really true for my clients in terms of holding us back from showing up. First is a sense of not feeling safe. Like, what if I get rejected? What if I get judged? What if I get even like further than that? Like, people actually attack me. I had some of that, like in some ways, the people who knew me and worked with me loved me. There was no risk there. The moment you put yourself out there, you definitely are in a place where people, there could be haters. There could be people who are going to say, "Who are you to say this?" Um, or even just simply disagree with what you have to share and call you out on that. And that can be very, very scary. I think I read somewhere that the fear of public speaking is actually higher on the scales of fears than the fear of death. Like, I think we're built as a species, as a system, as a human being, to be very weary of attracting negative feedback from others. And I think it wasn't that long ago that when people did not like us and we got kicked out of our tribe, it was not a pleasant experience. It meant death. So for a lot of us, the idea of putting ourselves out there and opening ourselves to criticism in some ways or to attack is almost on some unconscious level equal to death. The other fear, the other thing that comes through for people is that sense of um, who am I to actually be out there? There's other people who do what I do. Am I good enough? Am I going to be able to help people in the way that I want? So just a sense of not being good enough or not being worthy or not having everything we need in place to serve others. So we wait. We wait until we have the next certification. We wait until we have more experience. We wait until we feel more comfortable, until it feels right. What I'm here to tell you is you're never going to feel like you have enough experience. You're never going to feel like you have a message that's unique enough or special enough. And you're never going to feel comfortable unless it's your personality, unless you're an extrovert and you love this stuff. So if you're an introvert Introvert, you're going to struggle with this. And so the idea of waiting or thinking there is this one thing we need to do before we can do this will stop a lot of us. So I did a lot of healing work um, around worth, around safety, around deservingness. And then I started moving and I started moving forward. So these are the three things that got me to start getting beyond my fear and act despite my fear. So the first one was this concept of this idea. I really started grasping that even though I'm not perfect, and even though there's other people who do what I do, whether it is there's other therapists, there's other healers out there, there's other um, intuitive or strategic business coaches, other people who help folks truly step into their purpose and live their purpose. I'm not the only one who goes out there, and there's people who are great at doing that. There's other people out there. Even though that's true, and even though I'm not perfect, I am unique. There's no one who's going to do it, who's going to speak of it, who's going to have the exact same experience as me. And so that was the first thing for me, is to figure out and to really grasp that I have a unique message. I have a unique voice. I have a unique experience just in my own struggle with coming forth and stepping out and owning my worth and owning my value. I can serve and be with people in a way because I can relate to them and I've come through it. So it's easier for me to guide folks. So I realized that even though I wasn't the only one doing this, I was unique and no one would do it ever quite like me. My process, my healing process was unique. My strategies were unique and they were my own. And I could meet and serve people in a unique way. So that was number one, is you have to realize that you are unique and that your message is unique, your experience is unique. And even though there are other people who might do what you do, or who might have some of the same gifts that you have, they're not you. And they'll never show up exactly like you. So that's number one. The second, once you grasp that, your uniqueness, the second is to realize that your people are your people. Um, there are people out there who need you. They don't need that person over there or that person over there. They need you. They need to work with you. They need your specific experience. They need your energy. They need your spirit. They need your soul. And they're not going to get what they need from someone else. So because I had all these people who wish they had found me sooner, there's an aspect to service. Service in some ways is about being willing to serve under any circumstance, and being willing to realize that you're not out there, you're not putting yourself out there for the people who don't need you, won't appreciate you. You're actually putting yourself out there for the people who are going to get something from getting to know you in some fashion. And maybe they're going to get to know you by working with you, but maybe they're going to get to know you by just watching a video. Like the amount of people I've had who's reached out to me and say, hey, that one video you put out or that one post you put out, like I actually got an aha from that. That actually shifted my perspective about that. And so, you're not just doing this, you're doing this essentially for the people who need you and will get something from you. And the people who won't appreciate you, you're not their person. You're not there. They need to go and find their own person, their own community. And so in a way, by being very visible and being very yourself, you're actually helping them too. You're helping them know not to waste time with you because their thing is somewhere else. So that was number two, is really owning that your people will find you and you're doing this for your people, not for everybody. And third, this is the main one. And by the way, if you don't like cursing, I apologize. Or if you've got little ones around, you might want to put your hands over their heads. But the third thing that got me to move, and this is really just conquering the fear, right? The third thing that got me to move is in the moment of having to go live, in the moment of having to press play or send or whatever it may be, I started using two very powerful, very irreverent little words. And those words are fuck it. So if somebody's going to reject me, if somebody's not going to like what I have to say, if somebody's going to judge me, oh well, fuck it. And something about that, I know it sounds silly, but something about that almost put it in the hands of spirit. It was almost like a surrender. So every time I had to share my message, yeah, people are reacting positively to, it's always funny how like people actually like the cursing part. It's one of the things my client tell me. You guys don't know this because it's all online, unless you know me personally. But I'm like 4'8", 80 pounds. I'm like this tiny little thing, and people actually always crack up when I curse because I actually tend to curse quite a bit. But so conquering your fear, like being able to take action. Hey, Nancy. Um, Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, like even if some people are not going to like it, even if some people are going to judge me, that's okay. I'm going to move forward. And so it's actually something I will tell my clients quite a bit is when they're about to um, make some big changes or take some risks, is to actually move and have what I lovingly call have a case of the fuckets. Like, what's the worst that could happen? You are not going to you're not going to die. And essentially, by the way, a lot of this work is telling our system, telling our nervous system, hey, Chris, telling our nervous system that we are okay. Like it's not, nothing bad is going to happen. So it takes a little while of doing the difficult thing, of doing things that make us uncomfortable for literally our brain to start equating, oh, this is okay. Like, this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, yes, have a case of the fuck it's when you need to put yourself out there and essentially just keep, um, keep reminding yourself that you're doing this for your people. You're not doing this for anybody who's not going to honor you and get something out of it. So, I decided in that moment that if some people are going to leave my group, I would survive it. If some people were going to unfriend me, I would survive that. But in the end, my message, my mission, what I wanted to share was more important than my fear. And I think success is a lot about that, is stepping forward and knowing that what we're trying to accomplish in the end has more value and is more important than what we're afraid of. So that's my invitation, is whenever you've got doubt, whenever you ask yourself, can I really do this? Who am I to do this? Can I really step out there in this way? Use whatever you need to use to get you moving. The more you move, the more you act, the easier it gets. As I said, when I started doing lives, first of all, I started doing them here and there, like here and there, because they were so taxing to me. I would literally be sweating and feel drained and feel nauseous before going live. And so I would push and push myself to do it. It would come out fine. Usually when I was in it, it was fine. But like I felt like I needed a nap. And my day was shot after doing it. And then it got easier and it got easier. So these are my three things for you. You have a unique voice and a unique message, and you are unique, and you have something unique to share. Two, your people, the people you're meant to support, the people who matter in some ways, you have a responsibility to them to show up and serve them. You're not trying to serve the whole world. You're trying to serve whoever's going to benefit from hearing your own unique voice. And three, when you are about to take a difficult step, a difficult action, even if the fear comes up, say fuck it and know that you will survive it, and something good will come out of it. And remind yourself of those two things ahead. You're doing it for your people, and you're doing it because you have something unique to share, a purpose, You know that there's a life, something within you that's still there, waiting to be unleashed and brought out. And you are the steward of your own life. You know, you have a duty to your own life and to your message and to your gift to essentially put it out there and do what you need to do, um, to get visible. So let's see if there's anything else I want to share with you. Um, I've shared that it gets easier. It gets easier. Yep, it sure does. Success, it's one small step at a time. So I would say to you, like, if this feels like terrifying, like, I'm not saying I'll start going live and chatting for 20 minutes with people. You don't need to do that. But essentially ask yourself, what's my next step of visibility? Maybe I could post something in my personal page. Maybe I could post a quote. Maybe I could post, like something personal that I haven't shared, but I feel like would benefit people. Like, you figure out what's your next step. And then you take that next step and you get comfortable at that level with that next step. And then when that step becomes easier, then you ask yourself, okay, what's my next step? And you step again to that next step again. And then you stay here for a little while and you get comfortable with that. And then you move on to the next step and so on. Success is literally one courageous action at a time, one small step just slightly beyond our comfort zone at a time. You don't need to be here and say, okay, for me to really honor my soul and honor my message, I need to jump here. That is the fastest way to actually sabotage yourself and do nothing. Just stretch, sweat a little. Like, I had a mentor once that used to say, if you're not sweating a little, then you know you're not stretching. Sweat a little, stretch a little, and then just show up at the next level of visibility that's just beyond your comfort zone, and then small incremental steps. Um, and figure out what you need to do that. So, by the way, when I decided, I was really pushed by my own coaches to start going live on my personal page. And some of you are seeing me on my personal page. Um, when I was comfortable with making videos for YouTube for a while, then I opened a group and I could start showing up in my group comfortably. But the idea of going live or starting to share my stuff on my personal pages in front of my friends, in front of my family, in front of people who didn't actually know what I did, and open myself to that felt very scary. And it's only very recently that I've started doing that. And one of the things I had to do to be able to do that is I had to organize my friend list. I had to figure out, who is it that I don't want for them to hear me or see me in that way? Who is it that I think is going to judge me or is going to criticize me or trash talk me? And I put them in like a different friend group so that they wouldn't see these lives. Or a couple of them, I just unfriended. I was like, you know what? I just don't want that energy. For me to be able to be comfortable. So I'm inviting you, keep in mind that this is you. This is your life. This is your business. This is your soul, your purpose, your gift. You get to do what the hell you want. And you get to do it in the way that you want it. Doing all these things is uncomfortable enough without us having to try to please and be nice and do all of those things for everybody else. So it's okay for you, because you want to serve powerfully, because you have a message, because you know that your people are looking for you. It's okay for you to organize in such a way that it's going to feel good and it's going to feel easier for you. So full permission. If you need to organize your Facebook stuff, if you need to unfriend a couple people, if you need to open a different account, like, figure out what you need to do to really honor your purpose and start showing up and be visible. All right, I think it's about it. And the last thing I will say, if you're still here and you've decided that you're ready to take your work, to take your mission, to take your purpose to the next level, and to start creating and living the life that you want to lead, then reach out to me. Let's connect. Let's brainstorm. It's a free call, and we can play around with figuring out what's getting in your way and what it would take for you to really create the kind of life that you're going to love waking up to and know that you're serving people and you're making a wonderful income with your gifts. And you're doing all of that from a place of confidence and clarity and alignment and authenticity. So, be yeah, reach out to me. Say, let's brainstorm in the comments. Send me a message on Messenger or an email if you have my email. But don't wait. The time is now. And I would love to support you. So let's do it. That's basically it. Um, all right. I hope this was helpful to you. Being authentic, being visible, being you. You don't need to be anybody else but you. You are unique and you have people who need your support. And when the time comes to take that next scary step, just say fuck it and do it. And I promise you, only good. Like, yes, actually, I shouldn't promise that. Not only good, here and there, it will be a struggle. Here and there, you will get disappointed. Here and there, your feelings will get hurt. But I will tell you that that's been very minimal for me, very minimal. The changes that have happened for me, all the things I was afraid of, maybe 3%, 2%, 1% of that has been true. Everything else has been positive. It's been major change. It's been major transformation. It's been me connecting with people, even friends of mine that I hadn't spoken to in forever. People referring people to me, people saying, I had no idea you did this. That's amazing. And like talking to me. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, not only do you have nothing to lose, but the world has nothing to lose by you showing up and getting more visible. And in this day and age of COVID and being stuck in our home, that's what we need each other to show up as, is to be visible and to be inspiring and to help each other transform and grow in whatever magical way we each have, whatever unique ways we each have. All right, I'm going to go back and look at these content. A lot of you, I can't see the name because you need to give StreamYard permission, but I will go back and I will respond. And I really appreciate everybody who's been here with me all along. And I hope this was helpful. And I will all talk to you soon. Bye, guys.